Let's go.
I would have been like a mad tourist.
Welcome everyone to the Watchpoint ANZ second episode. Everyone is talking about the Pacific Showdown and how well Order played in the background. So to introduce you to the people where we're going to be talking about the Pacific Showdown before we touch anything else, we've got ex-Order manager Smash, now famed caster, the best caster on the broadcast now, next to Jordan Elfish Guy Mays. We've got Goobs, the flex support for Atletico, coming fresh off a win this week. We've got Bus, also coming off a fresh W, 4-0. And we've got Jordation, aim support. He's waving to us perpetually through the JDAT Howie.
And he didn't get the 4-0 this week.
He didn't get the 4-0 this week.
Nah, you didn't.
No.
What happened on the two maps that you didn't get the 4-0?
I don't know. We kind of clowned around and got 6-minute time banked on Volskaya and turned it into a draw. And then, what was the other map?
Dorado, we ended up on Sombra Goats.
Yeah, we played Sombra Goats in an official. The write-off.
How many times have you guys played like Sombra Goats?
About once.
About once on Dorado in an official.
Yeah. So that happened. Unfortunately, threw away like a big time bank because we had good ultimates and kept ending fights with good ultimates in quotations. So.
Yeah. Now, I think before we touch on the games this week, I think we should draw a little bit back. We did speak briefly last episode about the Pacific Showdown, but obviously the guys who actually went to the Pacific Showdown weren't here. But now that we've got Jordy, and we've also got Smash as well, who both made the trek over to China, would like to ask a couple of questions. First of all, obviously it wasn't the best result, but
it was in fact the worst result possible.
Yep, well, it definitely was the worst result possible.
But you guys didn't win a map.
Correct.
And you lost us our spot at South Korea later in the year. So thank you.
You didn't need that one anyway, don't worry about it.
How was the experience overall? As a player, as just someone going over Smash, I guess. Like, how was the experience in Shanghai?
Yeah, well, I'm sure Smash had a great time sitting around for 12 hours a day watching us play video games, but as a player, it was okay. The practice rooms were not great. Lots of like technical issues, and they didn't have headsets and all the stuff we had to sort. But it's still a good experience getting to play an international tournament, which is one that not many players get. So,
did you get any time to just like hang out and just like be a tourist?
Oh boy, there was time. I don't know. Not there was not.
I guess so. The first couple of days there were before the practice room was set up. Some of the boys went off to like the fake markets and that kind of stuff.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get another belt?
Like Jordan
I buy exclusively real. Well, they don't sell my size because I'm giant.
Yeah, they didn't sell max sizes. I don't know. The event itself, I guess, was okay. The venue wasn't exactly finished when we turned up, and then the practice rooms weren't too hot. But the opportunity for like players to play against international teams on low ping is like really nice. And but as for me, I was just like a giant babysitter the whole trip, so it was kind of a pain in the ass. But but it could have been worse.
Who's the worst player on the team to look after?
No answer.
I don't even. No, I can't comment on that. There's a few up there, but they're all easy enough to deal with.
Yeah, and like for Bus and Goobs, obviously, that surely would be a goal for you to make it over there eventually.
Oh, dude, if I can go overseas and not have to pay for the ticket over, fuck yeah, sign me up. That'd be fun as.
Yeah, it'd be pretty sick. Just like getting to play other regions on not like 180 ping.
Yeah, I guess that's the biggest thing for you guys is because you guys would scrim a lot of the teams who would go to the Pack Showdown on the regular. Maybe not like the teams, but like teams from those regions. Do you think that you would get like perform better with the ping difference, or?
So sorry, what was that?
Do you think like the ping difference makes like a massive difference into how you would be able to approach the matches if you were able to get the chance to go over, or would you just be completely crapping yourself because you're playing on land with these teams?
I'd still crap myself, but I think ping definitely does make a big difference, especially in I guess as a Ryan player. Like, God, it's frustrating playing on ping.
Of course.
I think like every role is just frustrating.
Yeah. I'm sure.
I know I hate it when I play like Zen and I'm versing a Sombra.
Yeah, you can't trans like reactively.
Yeah, stuff like that. And like
Yeah.
I imagine Ryan is really bad trying to block shadows.
Yeah, but it actually sucks.
Anyways,
It would be, like,
that's
stressful
just
being on stage.
a brief touch on the Pacific Showdown. We won't really talk about it too much, other than the fact that you won't see an Australian team at the Gauntlet, which starts on October 9. And we'll just blame it on Max because he's not here. But Contenders is done for this week. Games are now played live. Thank God. Sunday, Monday were when the games were played. Quick rundown of the results. Order took down SDB 2-1, and then I need to pull up my tab because I can't quite remember. Mavericks lost to Atletico 4-0. Warriors 4-0 Legacy, if I'm not wrong.
3-1.
3-1. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And my Frick 4-0 Ground Zero.
And the win.
Yeah. I might start with you, Bus, with the win.
Oh yeah.
What's this? How happy are you with the new roster at my Frick?
I'm pretty happy actually. Everyone clutches up. Kiki's a nerd. Silko's a nerd. They're all nerds. Addy pops off. I'm pretty happy with the roster. Yeah, at the start, I was worried about a few things, but everything like split itself up pretty quickly. Everyone's really good.
Is there anyone that, like, if you can make like one direct swap, like what would you do to help
One
the team?
direct
Or are
swap?
you happy where you are?
I'm pretty happy where I am.
Yeah. And what about you, Goobs? Obviously, you guys just completely revamped your roster. Only you and D Field really stayed on, and even you only joined halfway through last season.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy with my roster. Like,
yeah, tell us a bit about like the new guys coming through. Like you've got like Paso and Design who don't actually have Contenders experience, and they're coming through for their first seasons. And I
Yeah,
think
Paso's really good.
His run is actually pretty good. I rate it for sure.
Yeah, I was like surprised. Because when I like started scrimming with him like initially in trials, like when we were trialing to rebuild the team, he was actually doing really well, and I was like, wow, I've never heard of this guy. Like, who is he? And he's just like continued to get better, and he's like
Thought he was
he's really coachable as well. So if you like talk to him or you do a VOD review with him, he really seems to take in what you say into account and like improve his game that way. And Design's pretty funny. He says a lot of like dumb stuff that we always give him a bit of shit for, but yeah, Design's good. I like him.
Yeah.
He's a really cheerful guy, I would say. He's like he always just knows what to say to make everyone laugh.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
And I mean, you guys have got like a good mix of experience, I guess, when you've got players like Weebo and Quad J, and then now you've got the up and comers as well. Like, it's a bit more dynamic than the Atletico roster of last season, which, let's face it, was a meme. But what have you like? And this is a Jordation. Like, did you watch the match? Do you think anything of like Paso, the new players coming up, or what about you, Smash? I mean, you cast.
I'm going to stop you right there. Players don't watch Contenders matches, right? I talked Paso up that whole Contenders match, looking at it. He played really well, but I can guarantee you players don't watch Contenders matches. They might watch their own, but they don't watch the other ones. They're lazy little pricks. But I mean,
He's right, bro. He's right.
He's right. I'm right.
All right.
Because we said some funky things on cast this week. I called Bus handsome.
I heard some stuff about me in swimming trunks actually. I saw that. Too.
Yeah. Were you in swimming trunks? Because on Volsky you didn't end up going off the map, and I thought you were going to go off in swimming trunks.
So did I.
We were commenting on Modern's big hammer, and Elfish wanted to learn how to say big hammer in Korean. Modern hasn't reached out. I put a Jordation back to the bin in the cast. Jordation didn't even hear that. What else did we get going? I mean, there's stuff there, but no, players just don't watch their cast.
Feeling a little underappreciated, are you, Ben?
Oh, very underappreciated. I was expecting Max to watch, my brother in arms. He watched some of it, but he didn't watch all of it. But anyway, going back to these games, right? Like, I thought we'll start from Order Sydney Drop Bears. We'll break down these games because everyone thought Order was going to come in clapping cheeks, 4-0. They're, reigning champions, haven't changed anybody. Sydney Drop Bears, massive changes. Tuno's is this Phelan's guy or whatever, however you pronounce his name, good? Is Dreamer good? But like, you got to remember, Order didn't really have a break when the rest of the teams had their break, right? Like they came
we actually did have a break. We did nothing but have a break other than
I
Well,
was
yeah,
gonna say,
exactly. Like
didn't have a break on like May
exactly,
like
we're just
24th
like
or something.
yeah, they've just come back from their break. They're a week in, and they're not going to be the hottest straight away,
we
especially
had
because
like 8 hours or probably maybe like 10 hours of scrims between IAM and China that weren't at China, I guess.
yeah, like the team hadn't played a ton of Overwatch between the end of IEM and the start of the season of contenders. So I was expecting some growing pains, and the drop airs, they still have good players, but I was expecting it to be a lot more one-sided. But there were some errors on the side of Order that they'll know they made, and I don't think you'll see that type of error again because they were completely unforced ones, like Quats stuffing up his jump on Volskaya and just feeding. Like that's just stuff you don't usually see. But it's good signs for the scene that drop bears have managed to be like competitive, even though they had the amount of roster changes. Like Winter looked good on Brig still. I think Fleur is fine on support. They didn't look those players didn't look overwhelmed by the situation, I guess.
Yeah, I think Fleur had some like good beats as well throughout the series, and then Winter got the chance to play some Pharah on the final map.
Yeah, there's one good beat from Winter on Dorado where like Order had every single ult to win the fight, and then Fleur managed to beat the EMP shutter just because it was like the combo was done too late.
Yeah.
But either way, that was good. And then the next game from that one, the second game, the Mavericks Atletico game. I thought that was going to be closer too, because both of
Yeah.
those rosters on paper to me looked.
No, if you like
Legally
look
weak?
back and think of the history, the Mavs roster is just there was a team in OpenDiv called New Era. And the Mavs
yeah,
roster
it's
is
just-
basically New Era, who like they couldn't even make it through trials, and so they're obviously going to get stomped in contenders. I think it's pretty
Yeah.
fair to say that Mavericks is going to be 8th.
I'm pretty sure
Mad
that
down.
didn't you lose
Ath
to
literally,
New
yeah,
Era?
no, Ath
We
Yeah.
lost to New Era when they brought in
Oh.
like
Oh, when it was
Campus
Nuri.
and like Nellary and stuff. But during that time, Pezo's computer like completely died, and we couldn't use him at all.
Yeah.
So we had to have Zetzel come in and play main tank.
Oh,
So
God.
So
it was a pretty scuffed game from us.
But like, the Mavericks, I mean, they showed some like the only time they looked competitive, I guess, is when they were playing those like more DPS based compositions. Just because they have players like Exerst, they have who was there playing? There was Soggy was
Soggy,
playing the
Yeah.
Pharah.
Right.
Like,
Put Exerst
I
on
know
Widow. Easy win.
yeah, I know it's like obviously they're going in with a roster that's pretty undercooked, right? There's a lot of new names to contenders, not a lot of experience and stuff. If they're trying to match teams that have been playing goats for a while on goats, it's just gonna be pretty messy. So, I mean, they should be looking like an Outlaws, Chengdu, Hunters looking team, and really focus on a niche for themselves. Yeah, you have to still play goats in some areas, and they'll still play goats in those areas, but there's no use trying to shove themselves into this meta mold that they obviously won't be able to fit into.
Yeah, I agree.
Will there be any like outstanding players from that roster that you could see could shine throughout the rest of the season?
Oh, I mean, obviously Exerst's a sharp Widowmaker. It's hard to make that hero work in the current state, but there are room for it, especially with this map pool. With like Dorado in the map pool, we saw a lot of Widow being played this weekend, or last weekend. So I don't know, he could be a player to watch out for. Soggy's Pharah looks like okay. I've been hearing things about this Slippery Gypsy guy that he's like a decent off tank, but didn't stand out too much. But it's only his first game. Could be anything.
It's got banging Twitch emotes.
Yeah, how did you feel Goobs, going into that game? Were you guys confident to take the win, or were a bit nervous coming in?
I was pretty confident that we were gonna like 4-0, just because like we've been like Atletico, we've been together for a lot longer than Mavs have, so like we've already got that like advantage over them, and I just think with our like coaching and I don't know the effort that we put in, like I thought we were gonna 4-0 Mavs.
Oh, that's good then. And how has it been working with an international coach? Because I know he's Danish or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's from Denmark. He's got to wake up at pretty early hours. It was like worse during trials. Like I think during trials he had to wake up at like 4 a.m. his time or something like that. But no, it's been pretty good. Like he's had a lot of like resources from when
That's
he's
good.
been coaching in EU, so that's like helped us bring the players up to speed on like the goats meta and like how all the little intricacies work in the comp. And I mean, seems to manage the time zone difference pretty well. So yeah,
Has he allowed you to like pick up like the new comps like the May goats and the Clockman?
He's a big fan of the off meta picks, I guess. Like the May, he really likes the Clockwork as well. He thinks it's hilarious when it was like destroying all the teams in EU trials.
That shit makes me want to cry. I hate versing Maze and Torms and shit. Oh my lord.
It's pretty fun to play.
We all know Bus loves Bunker.
Love me some Bunker, bro.
Bunker is something we want to keep away from the cast as well. It is very boring to watch a team Bunker versus Bunker. The only Bunker that was fun to watch was the next game on the card, which is the Warriors versus Legacy. Warriors obviously looked in complete control. Kings Rose close.
About that.
But the Legacy Bunker on Dorado, the Ike Torb, was pretty powerful. If you haven't watched that one, it's probably worth having a geese. The Kings Row was close, way closer than expected. Dorado, obviously, Legacy won. Volskaya and Busan were like pretty stomps though. But like, it was interesting to see just Warriors again committing to their DPS picks like they did last season on blank. So it could be a fun season to watch them play, and maybe if the Mavericks play DPS as well, like there's going to be some variety in contenders.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how the Legacy roster keeps developing over time as well. Like when you got the names like Ike and Fundre, who are coming off like people are hyping them up all before last season, and they had a pretty solid season 1 2019. Now coming into season 2 2019, they're obviously going to have more time to prove themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Fundre looked good. Ike looked good. Like Ike had a lot of problems with the old Graviton Surges getting eaten, but I think he'll manage to figure that one out. Don't shoot it into the Matrix, wait it out.
Just wait until.
And
bit of the classic, don't shoot it into the Matrix.
Yeah, look, it's not that hard, is it?
Nah.
But
second cooldown now. What are you talking about?
And the old, don't go for the stylish hammer kill and then get reverse killed. That was a bit greedy from Ike. That was a good fun to cast that actually though.
Glad you had fun, Ben.
Yeah.
I mean, I know D-Field loves his hammer kills, so I'm sure Ike would have loved to cop one.
I've seen D-Field posting these hammer kills.
Yeah, we got a channel in the Discord for it.
Yeah, does not surprise me at all.
Have you been enjoying casting Smash? Because it's something pretty new to, right? Like, have you done much casting before this as well?
The only casting I'd really done in Overwatch before this was a open div final where it was Skrilla versus.
Oh my lord!
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Project and I wanted to watch the game in the lobby, and of course, the two teams knew each other really well, and so we agreed that we'd both cast the game and would both stream it. So like, you could obviously see that there was no cheating or anything going on. And yeah, I had fun with Nick doing that one, and my internet ended up cutting out, but yeah, it was good. I don't know. Casting it's been interesting, right? Like the first day, I don't think I was nervous at all, but I just didn't want to like make any big mistakes. So I was like very reserved, and obviously everyone commented, "Oh my god, he's like so passive and reserved, and there's no energy and stuff like that." So from there, you just kind of ramp it up to find like where you're comfortable with. I had a really good talk with Ben Green and Xenox tonight, actually, out in the car park. It was bloody cold, but they managed to trap me there for an hour. And, everything's positive. It seems like everyone's pretty happy at like the base level that I was there.
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed it. So
I feel like you picked it up pretty quickly, and because you know so much about the game as well, because you were order for so long, and the players, like competitive Overwatch. I think it definitely helps a lot. Well.
Yeah, I feel like it works out pretty well.
And you've got some like great guys behind you as well, like you just mentioned, Ben Green and Xenox. Like you probably would have been talking to like Kevin as well.
Yeah, Kev sent me about 300 words on how to become a better caster overnight from day 1 to day 2, so that was handy.
Only 300 words. I was expecting at least 300 pages.
Oh well, we tried. He linked me some good articles as well too. Yeah. So I've had a lot of help, and that's been like greatly appreciated, because obviously I'm like very new to this.
And is that something that like is it for you kind of just a thing that you're doing for fun right now, or is it like something that you can seriously see yourself doing and like trying to gun for the owl stage?
The hour stage. I think the hour stage is something like a whole different beast. I mean, nobody really expects to get onto that. I don't know. I enjoy doing it, and while I enjoy doing it, I'll keep doing it. And there's other games that I would enjoy casting as well, like PUBG and CS:GO if that's available. So I don't know, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, how do you like not talk over each other when you're casting with someone? I feel like I'd be so worried that I just like keep talking over someone.
So I mean, obviously we have our roles. The thing is, in Overwatch, it's like the hardest to do it. Like it's pretty easy to talk over someone in Overwatch. Like Jordan or Elfish will take the play-by-play, right? So like when there's fights going on or where there's action going on, I try and let him speak, and then he'll give me moments, like you can tell, because he'll like stop speaking, or like he'll slow down his tone, or he'll end his sentence in his tone,
Okay.
and then I'll take over. But sometimes, there are moments where he either runs out of breath or runs out of things to say, and then I can obviously take in the play-by-play really quickly, or there are those moments. But I think a few times this week we ended up stumbling over each other, but usually it's not too bad.
Yeah.
He's like a really experienced professional, so it's pretty easy to work with him.
And that's why I don't cast. I would like to ask you guys about what you think of Havana and Paris, because it's a map that we've seen seldomly so far, not yet in contenders and only a couple of times in Overwatch League. But you guys probably would have been practicing it because it is in the map pool for this season, if I'm not mistaken. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the map?
Did you see Made's post on Twitter about like the third point Havana spawn for attackers?
No, I haven't.
Oh, no. That was just funny picture because there's literally only those 2 doors to get out, and apparently people are just spawn holding like crazy right there.
Yeah,
there's like
Havana third point is like one of the worst points in the game. Like
so scuffed, man.
Sight lines are huge for like any kind of snipers, and if you're not playing snipers, it's all like flat ground. There's nowhere to maneuver around. It's like one path. It's a pretty awful like third point. The rest of the map's pretty good, honestly. I think Paris is a really good map. People like shit on it and talk like hate it, but I don't know. I think Paris is a really good map. It's definitely the best 2CP to play. Doesn't feel like super unbalanced or super uneasy. People have this weird misconception that like bunker is the only good comp to run on it, but it's just like not. Goats is just better.
Yeah.
All right.
Paris is good.
I think people only hate Paris too because everyone plays bunker.
Yeah, exactly.
If
people didn't play bunker every game in matchmaking on that map, I'd have a lot more fun.
Yeah.
I feel like every scrim I've seen and all the Overwatch League stuff is goats on that map. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, outside of like LA Gladiators, it's like all goats on Paris.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's just because goats are still just too good.
What games did we
it's
miss
just
out?
bunker is shit. It's like, oh, enemy team swapped to fucking Sombra Genji. Looks like we'd lose the first fight we have. It's no counterplay. Just hit their abilities and win.
Yeah. So the last game for the last week was Mindfreak Ground Zero, and this is a game I have very strong thoughts about.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty.
So going into this, I mean, obviously Mindfreak with their roster changes, they like upgraded their front line pretty heavily, and they were looking good, right? So I'm not surprised that they won, but I'm disappointed in the manner that they won. I expected it to be a lot more difficult. I know this Ground Zero roster didn't have like a massive amount of time together and stuff, but there's some good talent there. I was disappointed.
The map boys. I got like half of the maps boys from last season. Nami, Gus, and
yeah, I mean, I heard really good things about how they were doing, in scrims and stuff. So I can only assume that it was like officials pressure, and I mean that team has a lot of personalities onto it. So I just hope that they don't go down the path of blaming each other and just this toxic cycle that can happen in teams. Because I mean, like, at the end of the day, you all want the same goal, so there's no use picking on your mates for it. But I thought they were a genuine chance. And the first 2 maps, I think it was the Koth and the 2CP. So the Koth and Volskaya, they didn't look that competitive at all, and that was a real shock to me because I was really expecting them to be. And then they came out on Kings Row and Dorado, and they played a lot better. Well, especially on the Kings row.
Yeah, I was expecting Kings and Dorados to sort of be. I was expecting to be that close for like all the maps. Like, I was expecting the first two to be a lot closer than they were.
Yeah, I was happy that they could, come back after halftime after being 2-0 down and put in a good fight, but I was expecting a little bit of a stronger showing because that roster on paper is pretty good. Like Guz is a good off tank, Dalsu is an experienced, flexible player, good aim. Mini has been a tank in contenders for donkey's years. Juboy is good, Nami's good, and Money on a new role. I mean, it's going to take him a little bit to get the hang of that role, but he's always been a pretty solid player. So.
Yeah, I think he has like pretty good like general knowledge of the game because he's just played at so many roles. So
yeah.
So hopefully this week, when we cover their games, they can do a bit better.
Yeah, I mean, this off-season did feel like a lot more rushed than previous ones, with a lot of rosters kind of coming together last minute. It felt like, at least on Twitter.
I think you can blame the organizations for that too.
Yeah, there was yeah.
Pretty like from what I know behind the scenes, the organizations are pretty much to blame for like the roster shuffle period being so messy. I mean, I think Warriors only finished their trialing process very late, and a lot of players were like waiting on the Warriors trial process, and then you had teams doing offers early to try and like lock down players, and it was a pretty messy process. And unfortunately, with the
order was overseas.
I mean, I don't think there was much there. I mean, the order management and coaching staff and stuff were pretty like transparent that we probably won't be making changes. If we were making changes, like it wouldn't affect the teams. Like I don't think we were going to take players from like any of the AU teams. So I don't think it would have mattered a whole bunch what we were going to do or what they were going to do. So, but the main one was like the whole Ground Zero, Mind Freak, Warriors like triangle that was going on for like 3 weeks worth of trialing and nobody was like budging. That was the real stick in the mud. Yeah, Droppers as well too.
Yeah,
they were.
Definitely made it hard because everyone was just waiting on them to lock their roster in.
Yeah,
it was like a few days before roster lock, and as soon as they locked in that shit, everyone else like
scrambled.
Last minute, scrambled pretty much locking their rosters. Yeah,
because like so many players just posted LFTs, and I was like, wasn't like roster lock like
I think
week? Was there something?
And a lot of people weren't sure when the season was starting for quite a while as well, which I think sort of added to it. There was a lot of like confusion about when the season would actually start. I think that's screwed.
It's always been very poorly communicated. Start dates, finish dates, match dates, all that stuff is always very last minute.
Yeah, and that's on the global stage too. It's not just Australia. I guess like every contenders region gets kind of like information handed like at the last moment, and that's just due to scheduling and like how they want to do things at Blizzard. It's unfortunate, but it's just like the nature of the business, I guess.
Do we know if World Cup trials would be starting soon? If there are going to be World Cup trials?
Necessary trials this season.
Well, I mean, we can talk about the World Cup roster later if we want, but
yeah, why not? Why not now? Let's hit it.
With the under 18 rule being brought in, there's like some obvious locks for the World Cup roster, right? Like
I don't think it's really affected anything for AU, right? Who's under 18?
I think
other than like maybe Adam versus Punk.
Adam versus Punk is the big one that comes to mind, I guess.
I can't think of any others.
Possibly having like Quats as the 7th, maybe. I don't know.
Quats as the 7th? Did you say?
Yeah.
No, it was always.
That's like
you wouldn't have a main tank as a 7th.
Yeah,
you want DPS players for variety. And...
I played main Widow if you guys want to hook me up.
Fuck yeah, bro. I actually Buster's Hans is kind of slaps, I'm not gonna lie.
Hell yeah, dude. Let's get it.
I've seen it.
I'll take a free holiday.
I mean, my first impressions of the roster, and it's a pretty safe bet. Like, I think you'd be stupid to say anybody else from this roster is, you take Trill, right? He's going to have Overwatch League experience. He's obviously the best LAN player that the country has. There's no reason not to take Trill. He's a god.
Yeah.
You take Punk. He's going to have a really good season of growth with the Boston Uprising. They have a really strong, solid team. From what I know, Colsty is the coach over there, and Gunver helps out a little bit. Sometimes he passes on some nuggets of knowledge. So, he's going to have good coaching, and that's going to go a long way. So I think he'll be by far the best flex player by then. if he's not already. The DPS is the tricky situation. You have players like Huss, you have players like Yuab. We're not sure if CKM's going to come back for the World Cup. We've got Yuki. We've got Signed, who could throw his hat in the ring, considering he's born in Sydney and has, the option to get the relevant documents to play on the team. So the DPS is kind of where everything will be made. But for me, like there's 3 locks, right? You take Punk, you take Trill, and you take Hunter. I think it's, mechanically maybe someone like Flutero might be close to Hunter on, but as an in-game leader, Hunter is the best in-game leader by a country mile in the country. Like, from knowing how and seeing VODs of like how other Lucio players communicate, there is no Lucio player
What about
close.
Costa?
He'll
He's
be
got
at
a
his
wedding.
brother's wedding. Yeah, he's got a wedding.
Yeah.
Not there yet.
All
It's
right, man.
unfortunate.
I feel
Doesn't
like
want to represent the country. Okay.
I think Bert's just taken a massive L with this. Like 2018 has to
Bert was
compete with
close
Costa.
to Hunter. It would have been close. I don't think Bert was
Yeah,
a lock.
Bert was insane.
But
Yeah,
Also,
but I
that's
think
good.
he's good. It wouldn't have been a lock, but he would have had a much
Yeah,
better
yeah,
chance of
it would have
making the
been-
team.
Those two would have been like very 50-50, I imagine.
Yeah. But with Bird dropping out, like, those 3 are my locks, I guess, for the World Cup. And then the flex support's also going to be pretty competitive with the superstar Jordation versus someone like Tung from the Warriors. I expect Tung to improve a lot over this season. I think that he's still got cap left in him. I think that he's kind of gone to waste on the Warriors roster or blank roster the last like 2 seasons. I don't think they've had the most incredible coaching staff or resources for him in particular. So I expect him to improve this season. And he showed that on the weekend. He played really well on Ana especially. Like, he had some really important anti-needs and, was obviously thinking about the game.
I mean, he's been around for a long time as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's been around in like plenty of titles.
Yeah. Good old Giorgio. Do you guys have any picks to add to Smash's comprehensive list of trying to be RQT?
I think Dallas is pretty good on aim sport. I think he'd definitely make a good contender for the spot. I'm more with Tommy and Jordy. He's Ana shops.
What about old mate Goobs just sitting here? Be like, yeah, I'm a flexible guys.
I mean, it'd be nice, but I don't know. We'd have to see because, Tongue's really good, Kraken's really good. So,
yeah,
I think those 2 would be like the top picks for the flex support role. I'm surprised about the Signed thing though. How he's born in Sydney, so he could play for Australia. I thought he could only play for New Zealand.
Hasn't he played for NZ and World Cup before as well?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
you can play. You
17.
can play for 2 regions, or 2 different national teams. Someone
Okay.
has done it before, and I'm trying to think of who it was.
Okay.
I think it was in EU somewhere, but he
Maybe
if
someone
he's
like EKO or something. I don't know.
no, EQ is Israel. Israel hasn't played a World Cup, I don't think. But yeah, if he's available, I think that he'll be someone that's seriously considered in like the DPS role. But there's like some really good hit scan players, like Huss, very good hit scan player. Signed, very good hit scan player. If Eat Up's still playing the game, very good hit scan player. So
I think it'll be like 3 DPS will get taken for sure. If it'll be 7-man again, and it'll end up being 3 DPS. I can't imagine them picking Signed and not Huss, or Huss and not Signed. Their hero pools overlap, but Huss is definitely stronger in some, and Dale's Zaya is pretty unmatched across Australia.
That's fair.
And I think having
How
the
do you think-
flexibility on the DPS role is like really important as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And how do you think, like, there was a lot of guys on Reddit that I was reading it the other day. I kind of went like, no, that AU doesn't have a chance of making BlizzCon. There's been a lot of guys who are saying
said that every year, and yet 2 years in a row, AU has made BlizzCon, so
Yeah.
just the standard.
I don't know.
Yeah.
AU has the advantage of like a top 3 OWL coach. That AU has the advantage of like having like decent mechanical players and just put them in the right environment, and they'll do okay. As a region, yeah, we don't have a deep talent pool, but like what's at the top is quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone at the top just gets like sent off to like the States anyway, so hard
Oh,
to keep
yeah.
him here for long.
Look, okay. Answers just type something in the chat. If you take Gumbo, right, he would be a top 3 OWL coach if there was only one coach. Like if every team only had one coach, Gumbo would definitely be in the top 3.
If Gumber also didn't have Huck.
Well, yeah, if
don't
Gumbo
think
could spend
Huck's an
some
issue.
money, if Gumbo could spend some money,
That's
he'd
just
be
like the
right.
Boston thing, though, right?
Yeah.
Gumbo would have known
Yeah.
that going into it.
Yeah.
How they were last season.
I mean, he's done it right for himself. I mean, look at LAV with. You could argue that. Look at LAV without Gumbo.
Yeah.
With
They
a
also
little bit
hard
of
entered with a full Korean roster because of nepotism, but
Yeah, I was gonna say sprinkling nepotism, but you know, I feel like people started
Coach Moon's
realizing that.
skin selection.
We don't even talk about that. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's also been an issue we've talked about for the longest time. It's like, oh, Koreans are just going to be overtaking Overwatch now that there's regional lock on contenders and that kind of thing. But I mean, Fusion Uni's going all right when you look at them over in contenders career as well. They managed to requalify. I think we'll make BlizzCon. Hopefully. I'm not going this year though, so.
Do we know who's meant? You go.
Oh, people overestimate like other regions rosters, like other national team rosters. Like if you look, especially like the EU countries, like a lot of them have like maybe 2 or 3 like really good players on like certain roles, but then they have to kind of fill out the rest of the roles with players from either like contenders teams and stuff like that. So I don't know, Australia's got a decent like top talent pool.
There's a lot of guys who are arguing like, oh, Denmark's going to have a better roster, Brazil's going to have a better roster, Russia's going to have a better roster, Australia's probably going to be like 11th best and like not make it into that group stage. And I just went, I don't think Brazil's better than us, and I don't think Russia's better than us. But I mean, Denmark did also beat us at Bangkok last year, so that's a possibility.
Denmark are pretty good, but
yeah,
depends how it's drawn as well and what the groups are like, or how the format works. It's like,
when does that happen? When we like find out who we have to verse to go to BlizzCon?
fucking probably like
God
weeks
knows
before.
yeah.
Fair.
on the day you fly in. How about that?
Would not be surprised, but
Yeah.
either way.
I think I'm still torn as to how I feel about this World Cup format, because I'm happy that the World Cup's here, but I understand that Alv runs longer seasons and contenders finals are running during the same time they were holding qualifiers last year. But I just feel like having the qualifiers and having the teams qualify from the best players, or even just regionalizing the qualifiers or something, I don't know. And then having all the teams go to BlizzCon from there just seems a whole lot better.
There's a lot of Overwatch esports on this year, like a lot. If you think about it, for one because it's only the developer running the titles, right? Like there's not third-party influence really. Like for Blizzard to be running all these events it's quite a lot. So I don't blame them for like having the World Cup on the back burner or not as much attention as before. But
I mean, I don't think anyone expected World Cup to happen this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that announcement was completely out of the blue, and everyone kind of lost their mind over it. I guess I am happy it's here though. It's just relatively annoying that I don't know. I think Bangkok was just one of my best experiences ever. I had so much fun at that event that I think it's a shame that the smaller events like that are gone now. But the World Cup still being around, I think, is a net positive for the scene. I think we should look at talking about what's in the future in terms of games, and then maybe a few more questions from the chat. Yeah, I'm sure you got many devout Bustle fans in chat, and Geordie fans as well. Not sure about Goobs.
Jordation Nation.
Yeah, I've seen Paso around, so Goobs has a friend.
My boy Paso's got my back. What can I say?
Yeah. Is Paso as weeb as his Twitter profile makes out to be?
Yes, he has linked some interesting YouTube videos.
No, is he one of those kids? How old's Paso?
I honestly don't know. I think 19.
Okay.
All right.
But,
sounds like we would get along.
Yeah. Heza, you should link Ducky what you linked.
19. That's
You linked
fair
in the chat. I'm sure they'll enjoy it.
Alrighty, I've just pulled up the sheet for this week's games coming up. So I've got Order versus Atletico 2 p.m. on Sunday, and then Sydney Drop-Bears versus Legacy at 4 p.m. And then on Monday we've got Mavs versus Ground Zero at 7 p.m. Yes, I'm reading per time, so I'm trying to translate it. And Warriors versus Myfreak to round out the round at 9 p.m. Monday night. I'm very excited for. I think Warriors versus Myfreak is going to be a great game.
It
Are
will
you
be a
guys-
great game.
Are you nervous about that? Do you think you're going to get?
Yeah, dude, I'm nervous as hell because the Warriors are a really good team, but I'm excited for the match. I'm really keen for it, actually.
Do you think? Will you be able to answer like DPS stuff and like?
Yeah, if they whip it out, like definitely. I mean, we play teams enough that run with shit that we're definitely ready for it if they do whip it out.
Now, Order versus AF have got Goobs and Jordy. Both the flex supports of both teams.
Spicy.
Spicy, yeah.
God, I can't wait to see how Quats is going to throw a map this week. Yahoo!
See if you can gift over another 6-minute time bank.
Fuck you, Quats.
That'd be nice. I'll take it.
No, I think the Mind Freak game is going to be close. Apparently, in scrim results has been close too. Hearing from a few friends in the camps, so should be a good game. I think that Mind Freak might struggle with the DPS though a little bit. I have this feeling that they might not be able to take it, but.
Did you see us on Dorado against GZ DPS? We were clean.
Yeah, you were clean, but it's a different style.
Ground
Yeah,
Zero is
that's
no
true.
Husroro DPS lineup.
Yeah, you definitely have a point there, but
I think Huss and Roro are I think they're the strongest DPS lineup in all of contenders.
it's a
that any team has.
that's a pretty scary
But
lineup.
if they
Yeah.
were to play I don't mean like the strongest in their roles. I just mean on DPS heroes. I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that they're quite potent. It was good seeing Huss on the Tracer too for a brief moment on the first Koth round. Comes out, gets a 2k, and then everyone runs back to spawn and swaps to goats. Good firm handshakes, fellas. Firm handshakes.
I'm interested to see if Legacy can take maps off SDB as well.
I reckon they definitely have the potential for it. I feel like people sometimes forget about Legacy or just like sleep on them a little bit, but they can be pretty nasty if you like leave them unchecked.
Yeah, you
Legacy
saw
can
last
definitely
season.
join some maps.
Last season, Legacy like blank slept on Legacy, and they ended up getting punished and pushed to map 5, and it ended up
Yeah.
ultimately costing them a lot because the map differential was so bad that they they came third in the bracket and then versed us at LAN. So I don't know, you can't really afford to sleep on teams like Legacy, Atletico, even Ground Zero. Like it's not worth it. It's not worth like losing a map and then losing $10,000. So
Hessa,
don't
you
sleep
feeling
on
that one?
Well, to be fair, we didn't sleep on Mavs last season. We just
Shit the
lost.
bed.
Just yep.
First summer goats. Which,
Yeah.
to be fair, became our best comp to play into over the season, probably.
Certainly fixed that problem real quick.
But you still can't play it yourselves.
No, because
No, playing Somber Goats is for cowards.
That's very true. I agree.
cowards who want free, cheap fight wins versus bad teams who don't know how to deal with Sombra.
It's fair. What was the other game? Mavs versus GC.
Mavs GZ will be
Close. That's like a 7th, 8th match, I think.
that's a 7th, 8th match.
I think if it's a goats mirror, GZ gonna clutch up.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
hope GZ win that one on paper.
Mm.
Do you think Ground Zero are worse than the likes of Legacy then?
It's kind of. I can't really
I
say.
don't know,
We
actually.
haven't scrimmed any AU teams other than Warriors or Choppers, so
Mm.
we don't know.
Ground Zero, Legacy, and Ath, I guess, could be close. Like those 3 teams, I guess. It's pretty apparent that Mavericks have like a lot of work to do now. So, but like hopefully they can be in that competing bracket. But I think those 3 teams, like Legacy, Ground Zero, Ath, are all pretty close together at the start of the season.
Yeah, that's fair. With that, I think we might open it up to chat for 10 minutes or so and see if anyone's got any questions on Jordation, Smash on his newly found casting career, Goobs and Athletico, or Bus and why he's a very bad Pokemon trainer.
Sorry?
I think
Yeah.
Bus is the best at everything he does, in fact, so you take that back.
Dude, I'm a really good Pokemon trainer.
I was really sad when Bus picked Dalsu Tracer into my Zen, and then I just got absolutely domed.
See,
Does?
look at the chat. This is why Parso's so annoying to have on the team. He just doesn't appreciate me.
Why didn't you talk, Goobs? You can talk now. Here you go,
Yeah,
Kish.
I did.
You did.
Although, to be fair, like a lot of the World Cup stuff, I don't really know much about. So
Gaza_O, I have the best chance of making the Overwatch World Cup team.
I
Yeah,
do.
I think that's
because-
pretty clear.
I think Bus is just gonna like big punk for Diva.
Unless I don't know.
yeah,
Unless,
roll stop, bro.
Unless I shit the bed in whatever form of trials, I make the team. It's that simple.
if Trill mysteriously gets American, then I don't know.
If he
Boston
gets like a
could
new
be-
birth certificate and he's American, then maybe. But
Yeah.
Is someone gonna break
Fingers
Quartz's
crossed.
second arm as well?
I mean, Kotsu is going to be underage. Poor kid.
Oh yeah, true.
fuck yeah.
Permanently stuck in child hell. Unlucky. Champion.
Easy.
That's what you get for being a child.
That is what you get for being a child. The bingo card. Well, Sydney's bingo card actually chopped. I thought it did really well this year. The background image is actually perfect. Having like the Peter
I think the
Do
background
appearing
image-
over the
I
top.
think some of the squares are
good.
like
Also, the lore behind the water bottle at the top left is I was an idiot on the first day and left my water bottle like in shot, and I was at one point I left it in shot for like 10 seconds, and then they like swapped over and I got the message, and then Elfish guy like grabbed the water bottle and fucking threw it, and yeah, it was a bit of a disaster.
Okay.
oof. Do we want to read through the card? Oh
Yeah, you can if you
The
want.
bingo card.
yeah. Let's leaf through the bingo card. Just linked it in chat. Got a wide variety of ANZ Jenners down the bottom there.
I just noticed CKM on it.
Yeah,
That
the Felix beef.
was epic.
Felix.
So I'll read it.
Why is there a photo of Ti?
It's just because it's the only stage you could like get to like put in there.
Uh,
That's actually the leaked MEO layout. They get the TI pods, you know,
I'd respect that.
the soundproofed, air-conditioned TI pods. So we got Yuki gets stopped by airport sniffer dogs.
Highly likely.
Reasonable. Kiki personal cheer squad in the chat. We've already had that. I'm pretty sure Jazz was popping off in the chat. Hunter wins contenders but loses uni. We did have that last season.
We're also halfway there this season, so
We're all halfway there. He is losing uni.
How did it go on the exams? Because it's exam period now.
L.
Yep. Drugs
else
and
was it all?
biomedical experiments.
L.
L. Okay. Unlucky Max. Camera on modern, but still camera on modern all match, but still complains. Could happen. Could happen. Although the observers, according to Legacy's MJ, are doing really well. So
Yeah.
good job to JP and Cindy on that.
I rewatched our match against the GZ and I thought the observers did really well. That's some
Wow.
really shots.
I don't like
this
a little. I
now.
don't like the one thing I don't like about observing this season is it's like sometimes they like scroll in a little bit and like then scroll.
Oh, they
back
like
out.
zoom in.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
what
like
you're
it
talking
looks
about?
really weird. But
Yeah, the FOV change stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's art. You just don't understand it, man.
I guess.
We've got the Lucio player likened to Frogger. I don't think any of us have done that yet, but it probably will happen.
You'll
AU
just do it
internet
if it comes up
happens.
as now.
AU internet did happen. There was a pause, very brief one, but there was one.
That was a headset.
It was a headset, not AU
thing,
internet.
yeah.
Okay, excellent. By the way, if you do pause this season of contenders players, I will hate you because it's all live and
Please pause as much as possible. in
I
order
don't know how to
inconvenience
stall.
Ben Smash Brother Jones.
yeah,
Force him to improvise alongside Jordan.
Just keep like a little joke book handy in your back pocket.
it was chronic. I'm so terrified of that. That's the thing that terrifies me. Mind Freak empties the bankroll but loses land. Possible. Possible. Norman Judy team up to take on Pete. I think they'd still struggle.
Hey, you don't think
Dude,
Norm's
Pete's
Craig
a
on
genius.
Pete in a one-on-one?
Yeah, Pete looks like a titan in that photo, peeking over the wall.
Yeah, he's-
That's hilarious.
we got Slip. What's that? Slippy GC is spammed in
That's
Twitch
already
chat.
ticked off.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Tick that off.
Yeah. I chucked my. I
They
think I
lost at
still got
MEO. Pete would never let a player get lost at MEO.
No, but if I know one of the player managers will be Jess, but I don't know if she'll be doing Rainbow Six or Overwatch. And then if we have JP as a player manager, like anything's possible. We almost lost Yuki last season when he went to go buy himself a mouse
Yeah, but
punch or
Yuki
something.
always gets himself lost like repetitively and at every possible interval, so that's
Yeah,
kind of a given again.
I will be acting as an inside man trying to get this bingoed out.
Oh, by the way, Elfish had a really good shirt.
Yeah, Elfish's shirt on
Oh,
on
the-
I
Thursday
fucked with it.
cast,
I
that
fucked with
was
it.
fucking
It's like-
incredible.
okay,
I rated it. I loved it.
he walks in. I have this like my shitty fucking shirt, whatever. That ended up fucking the camera anyway. So that was.
He showed you up, man.
And then he like grabs this shirt off the rack. I don't know. I can't remember if he grabbed. Yeah, he grabbed it off the rack, and it's just this blurry thing. And I'm like, whoa, okay. You know, we're not gonna look alike at all here. And then he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go with it, man. I'm just feeling it today. I'm like, you know what? You do you, fella. It was actually funny. During that cast, he actually started climbing like on the chair. He was like kneeling on the chair. It was so weird. He just started climbing over things. It threw me off so much. Anyway, Ben Green wasn't a very appreciating of that shirt, but it's alright. So Davey makes his final role swap to retirement. I hope that doesn't happen.
Surely
David
he has
goes
one
out.
more season. Surely he can finish off the goal.
He's got another role to go, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got to do
He's
hit
done it
scan.
all, man. No,
He's gotta
he's
do
played
hit
hit scan before.
When did you play
Not
hit
contenders
scan?
yet.
Not in contenders, but in I believe it was a bi-monthly brawl team.
Yeah, I think he might.
Or that like era, if people were around for that, you may remember. Davey had a brief stint during the McCree Doomfist meta. Davey was on McCree.
Wow. Okay.
I
So-
remember.
This
I
man's
remember.
powerful.
Sydney Drop Bears and Warriors end up in homeless shelters. No, I think
Why?
that's up to. I mean, I can see Sydney Drop Bears doing it.
Warriors has infinite funding. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, Warriors are looking at a nice team house, you know, for a long period of time. I think they'll be fine. But I mean, we could see Little Dreamer on the streets if Dog Street gets
Bro, they got the Vodafone money.
yeah, the Vodafone that they can't use because of T-Mobile. Fucking
Oh
Overwatch.
shit!
Actually,
Sydney-
now I think about
Is
it,
that
yeah.
is that like Alienware that you can't use because of owned by HP?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Cindy late on bingo, yeah, he was. Smash gets every prediction wrong. It's never gonna happen. Don't even worry about that one, fellas.
All right. Whatever.
Ben Green halftime alcohol cabinet show and tell. Haven't
Does he
actually
not-
heard him mention that.
I was gonna say, does he like not shut up about it like at ESLGS because it's all he bloody
No.
posted on Twitter?
You barely see him at ESL actually.
Sort of
Um,
making
do
money
you-
moves.
You know, yeah, well, he's handling most of the partnership stuff. You know, it's his desk though because it's covered in Overwatch League merch. Actually, he's one of the only ones that like actually wears Overwatch merch. That's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Everyone goes to GG Easy Bar. That should be everyone goes to GG Easy Bar, waits an hour, and then leaves to another bar.
Yeah.
Everyone says that they're going to go to GG Easy Bar, and then
And then pays like
elsewhere.
$15 for a slurp juice.
Oh
Yep.
man, you actually went
Holy
inside.
shit.
You're the real fool, bro.
Wait,
Every
you
I
got
swear,
inside?
like,
I
The
the
I
three
believe-
nights I went out at PAX, and also the night we went out at MEO, whoever I was with, we got to there, realized there was a queue, told whoever was inside to come outside, and then we walked elsewhere. happened every night.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like I was with who was I with? I was with Genome and Archite on one of the nights of MEO, and I was waiting for Jordy to come down actually, and then Andrew said like, "Oh yeah, he's on his way down." I was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." I just went up and looked, and you guys were starting to bail out to that like German pub, like half an hour across town, and I went, "Yeah, I'll come. Why not?"
Oh, was that after MEO? That German pub was sick, man. Fucking Daz was busting a move.
He's
Holy
actually
shit.
busting.
Face
the
has a
moves.
video of it, but he refuses to share it. I was like, ever give it out, but my god, Dario was dancing.
He was bumping, dude. He was.
That is- I hope I never forget that.
Elfish banters Smash out of a job. I mean, he can't really hit me any lower than I've been hit with Max around for the last 2 years. So good luck.
Yeah.
Daddy Daycare goes bankrupt and Legacy Kids go wild.
I mean, they've lost. Mo's hardly there to contain the children now.
Yeah, but I'm not too concerned about that. The kids there, they'll be alright. I think they're all. I think they all like enjoy each other's company, which is weird for an Overwatch team nowadays. But
Imagine
like that helps.
liking your teammates.
Alright, Weaver plays Mystery Heroes. I could see that one happening towards the end of the. But for now, he's
That's where
been
I saw
pretty.
Boss play Mystery Heroes on stream the other day on Horizon. It was a Horizon
Yeah.
game where you like play like 6 DPS heroes on second.
Yep. No,
I hope Weaver doesn't decide to just do his own thing. That would
No.
that would not bode well for the Atletico team.
I think
Would
it
not bode well for Wuvo's reputation. He's probably on his last legs as far as rep goes.
Yeah, he's been looking good, decent on Atho. It's good to see him back. It's good. Honestly, it is good to see like mechanically talented players that like August and Weaver, I guess. That
And it's
I
good
like
to see August back in it. I always thought he
Yeah.
was quite good. I'm not
He's
sure
His
what-
Hanzo, very scary.
I
his
think
brig
he's
was really
at
good too.
everything. He's got like good mechanics and he's like quite a smart player, which is quite rare. Probably just formed from playing only NA, which I don't know. Spamming NA is how to get good at the game.
Mm.
That's what he did.
Gus takes another team to LAN.
Unlikely.
Tall order now after seeing the first week, but
Mm.
not impossible.
Mhm.
Player has mid-season Twitter breakdown. Yeah, that's 100% gonna
Has
happen.
that ever happened? Has that
Just
happened
follow
before?
on Twitter. It happens.
A mid-season Twitter
I don't
breakdown.
remember it
I don't
ever
know.
happening, but maybe
I
this will be
think
the
I think
season.
did Minnie have one during the Ellie drama? Because she was like
I
really
wouldn't
tight
say
up
it
in
was a
that one.
breakdown.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a breakdown.
So-
Yeah.
I know
That was-
players have had like breakdowns internally, like they've like become unbearable in the team, like mid-season. But I
Mm.
don't think it's ever been like public stuff.
Adam's
Adam-
girlfriend comes.
That is what I
Adam's
want to see.
girlfriend.
We'll
Wait, does
see.
Adam have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Adam has a girlfriend, and it's
Oh,
been
pog.
it was so painful. He had one for about the last, I don't know, maybe.
I did. When Adam
months
asked her
I was
to
at order?
fall, possibly the
Holy
cutest thing I've
shit.
ever witnessed. Adam
Oh,
asked her to like
shit.
Adam asked her to the school dance or whatever. And when she said yes, Adam let out like the most childish little squeal of happiness.
Oh,
By far
Adam.
the cutest thing Adam has ever done.
Yep.
Restored my
Adorable,
faith in the
man.
kid.
That's
Yeah.
blessed.
It was like mid scrim too. It was hilarious.
And he spent the whole of boot camp for IEM Snapchatting her,
Yeah,
and
that's
he
right.
spent the whole of China Snapchatting her. It was a kid.
I had to
High
give
school
him some, I had to give him
romance,
some
mate.
e-dating pointers while he was away.
Yep.
Did they sleep on a Discord call together?
I don't think that's
Sleep.
that evolved yet.
Okay, fair enough.
We're getting him there. We're getting him there. Imports take over AU contenders. Well, I mean, none of the imports have been takeover worthy yet.
Let
Interesting to see.
I think you've got to realize that anyone that's coming to play an AU contenders from another region is clearly lacking some critical information.
Yeah.
Yeah, that edit of
think
modern
it's-
and stuff in the box.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's like, it's still good. I really like that more, not more teams, but that there are more imports. It's good because it stops teams just like filling their roster with a shit like extra player because there's
Yeah,
no one
for
else there
sure.
to fill the role. Like I don't know, Australia's always had like a chronic main tank problem. There's only ever been like 3 or 4 good main tanks at a time. And there's
Yeah.
probably even less now. Australian main tanks, I mean. It's like bus and
Yeah,
quads.
no, there are some real
And,
chronic
I don't think
figures
I'm
in there.
missing any.
I think there's some up and comers.
Yeah, maybe there's up and comers.
This-
but
but
But not like current.
we're
top.
talking established, yeah.
I think it's literally like bus and quads at the moment are the only
Yeah.
two.
Gone are the days where we were blessed with main tanks such as Homo Demon, Trill, Mosh.
Mm.
Those were the
Sorry
days.
about that Homo Demon guy.
all right.
That's a bit of a stretch.
ANZOW defeats another e-girl.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Defeat.
Y'all don't remember why ANZOW V1 got shut down?
Nope.
I believe an Eagle was defeated in the process of it.
Yeah, I think an e-girl was defeated.
Defeated.
Jubo paints the stage another color. Well, if he makes it there, I can see him doing it.
Oh, dear boy.
That was a low blow from Daniel, but
He was
That's
so
actually a
sick.
dog
That
shot
poor
out of
kid.
Cindy, man.
He was
Fuck.
poor kid was absolutely guts up that land.
He did well though.
Yeah.
He sorted out his nerves in the match, and he was like really calm during it. But,
Yeah. No, he seems like a good kid too. He's been on the up and coming young Jubo, so that
I
was
miss-
Cindy's
I-
bingo sheet for this season.
I miss
He's
Jubo
done
Farah.
well, Cindy.
I remember watching one game of Jubo Farah when he was on Pix, and I was like, "Yo, I like this guy a lot." It's like one of the first games of Contenders I watched. I reckon.
Were you the redditor that called it OWL tier?
No, I was not that guy. But
Just checking.
I remember seeing that thread of like 7 plays you have to watch out for OWL, and here's this 15-year-old Jew boy playing Farah. Like, yeah, he's definitely going to be an out next year. Like, not out already, but he's definitely making a name for himself in and
Then we force him into Brig Jail.
Yeah,
yeah,
big jail.
everyone's still in Brig Jail, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you guys think Ghost will not be the comp anytime soon? Because I think it's obvious Blizzard are trying to like get rid of it, right?
When they lock
It's-
2-2-2 as meta,
Yeah.
they don't let you pick 3 supports and 3 tanks. That's when
Wasn't there
meta.
recent talk about that? About actually doing
they
that?
were like
The
leaked.
stage 3 it's meant to be in, or stage 4 of
Stage
ours?
Oh
Stage four.
shit!
It's
yeah,
the
rumored.
thing.
it's what the leaks are saying. We'll
So-
see if
so
it's true.
Yeah, no confirmations obviously, but that's what
I
has
would.
spread.
Yeah,
So they'll
I
put it
would
in Al,
a-
but not in matchmaking.
Yeah, I don't know how it'd work. I guess they
I'd
would.
like. I mean, the 2-2-2 lock for me is like, I don't think I like that much rigidity. But then if you have like 1-1-1 and then 3 flicks, that still allows teams to play Sombra Goats. So
But some of guys can just not. I'd appreciate it. if it didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. That's dumb because then everyone would just play Sombra Goats, and what's the point?
yeah, Sombra Goats
No
make
comp is better than Sombra Goats if you can't play regular Goats. And
Ah.
even now, I think our teams are even opting for Sombra Goats over regular Goats.
It definitely makes it easier to balance. So if there is like a 2-2 lock, right? Because it makes it
Yeah.
so there's this sort of like rules or boundaries like that they can work within, instead of just having like you guys can play like 6 supports if you want, man. Do whatever. Kind of makes it a bit easier for them, I think. 'Cause Overwatch seems like a pretty complicated game to balance.
I don't know. The game was designed to be 2-2-2, and it just so happened that Goats
people
became a
found
thing.
3-3.
Yeah. The game's always been played 2-2-2. It's always the strongest comp. Brig fucked everything. AoE heals are the biggest problem. I don't think everyone says, oh, it's the stuns or it's the tanks. Like, I'm pretty sure AoE auras are just the biggest issue. Always
Yeah.
have been.
Does that apply to Lucio as well, or just Brick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also Lucio. Speed is like Lucio is a shit hero. Everyone just runs him because he's the only hero in the game that can speed boost. And speed boost is inherently overpowered. Just
I
be able
wish
to
I
run
was-
over your opponent.
I wish I was around when you could play multiple of the same hero.
Yeah, when you
There's
play.
two Lucios.
There was 2 Winston's, 2 Traces, and 2 Lucios on every team.
Yeah,
Shit. that would
That was like old Lucio with like the 30-meter auras as well.
Yeah, and like low speed, and so you'd just be like an aura bot. One of you on heals, one of you on speed.
That's epic.
Alrighty, I think we'll call that a night for Watchpoint ANZ. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to thank our special guest for tonight. Got Buzz waving at the camera wonderfully from Mindfree. Got Goobs from Athletico. Give us a wave, Goobs, come on. And Geordie, show us if you can shake around the
Geordie, give
camera
us a
for me
wave.
to give Geordie, get the Jada howdy waving to us. Thanks to Smash. Good luck with your casting endeavors this season. I'm sure we'll see you relatively soon. What the hell is 50 doing with Geordie? Dancing around the screen. We'll be back next week at 10:15 p.m. Tuesday, same time, same place, twitch.tv/Snowball Esports for more Watchpoint ANZ action. But for now, good night
Bye bye.
and get
Bye,
SR.
gamers.
MF win. MF win. MF win. MF win.